Hi, it's Grant Abbott, and in December 2025 I came out with my 6 waves that are crashing down on Australia. It was funny, many people were saying, oh no, it's never going to happen, because one of them was house prices. No, house prices always go up. Well, I went in and talked about it. One of the ones that are really coming in is the obviously the impact of the Iran-US war and the oil shortage, helium shortage that's going to impact us. At the moment, we're not seeing it because everyone's drawing reserves, and eventually at some point in time that will start to crash on our shores. So we're waiting for that one, but there's a lag, a bit like COVID was. Second one, I talked about the property prices going down from the work of Fred Harris and also Phil Anderson every 18.6 years. Well, guess where we are? And after the government's absolute horrendous budget, look where we are now, and we're starting to see property moving very quickly lower. Where it goes, I'm not quite sure. The third one, I talked about AI now starting to replace jobs, and that's happening very slowly, but the last couple of days I've had Tax Guru training where we're building these amazing apps, and it just presents a huge amount of opportunities for people who are using AI, but for middle management it's going to mean a decimation, particularly as we go to automation. And we saw that tick up from in unemployment to 4.5%. So we're starting to look at the impact of that one. The fourth one, we talked about China being there in the 2007-2009 crisis to really get Australia through, and it's quite obvious that that's not the case anymore. In fact, China's holding very closely to all its resources and getting supplies basically of everyone. NDIS and aged care, remember I talked about those blowing the budget. It's funny, the government, the figures that we were looking at before, that NDIS was going to go from 55 at the moment to 110 billion over the next 5 or 6 years. The government's going to put in all these new measures to reduce, supposedly, but the budget is going to be flat line, or it's only going to increase by about 5%. Over the next 5 or 6 years. So there's a lot of rubbery figures there. And aged care, you've heard me talk about it before. We can't even get enough aged care spots at the moment for the silent or the war generation, where there's 2.5 million of them. What's going to happen where the baby boomers now start hitting aged care, which is the front end at age 81, and there's now 5.2 million baby boomers. So expenditure's blowing out. Expenditure blowing out, interest rates go up. Anyway, we know that. Final one is taxes. And didn't I tell you about death taxes? So we've now got Division 296 in super. They're now charging flat rate taxes on trusts. A minimum tax of 30% on capital gains. That's absolutely ridiculous, and it's not even discounted, it's real capital gains. So Jimmy, there's a lot of bad stuff in the budget. Just keep on watching me, because I'll give you my views on things. A lot of the trust taxation I don't feel will come in, but at this stage anyway, if capital gains tax are going to be taxed at 30%, trust are taxed at 30%, well, you're always going to put it into a trust anyway. So don't listen to anyone who said trusts are dead. Trusts are not for tax minimisation. If you've been sold on that, it was a dummy right from the start. Trusts are about family wealth protection. Anyway, here we are about 5 or 6 months later. All my predictions are moving exactly where we are starting to go. And actually, I remember around about that same time, November 2025, I said to Bitcoiners who were at that stage, Bitcoin was 128,000 US. It was time to actually take some money off the table. And I think we're going to start to see that with property as well. Because once AI hits that property market, middle managers are forced out of their homes. There's going to be a lot of mortgagees in possession. One thing though, one strategy, SMSFs now are the penultimate tax minimisation family wealth protection vehicle. For those ones that cashed up, you're going to be able to buy established homes in really good areas as investors flee there. And it's a great opportunity for SMSFs to negatively gear and hold that property until they retire when they don't pay any capital gains tax. No brainer. Grant Abbott, signing off.